So when you have a discussion about American goalkeepers, who better to discuss it than Kasey Keller, the former US international? Now, US Paraguay on Tuesday, and the three players that have been called up, very inexperienced. What do you make of the US goalkeeping situation right now, and someone who could maybe come through the pack to establish himself as a #1 choice goalkeeper?
Well, I think it's interesting because I think if you're looking at it, you got to look at it kind of in a bigger picture more than just the goalkeeping. You're looking at a point where, yes, the failures of the team to qualify and then an uproar that we need to kind of look at all this young talent coming through. So you have, pretty much any experienced player isn't called in to begin with. You're looking at a coach that for all practicality.
Sitting duck.
Yes, correct. He will not be there. And so you got a group of guys that are really kind of fighting for something that doesn't really exist. But I suppose anytime you get a chance to play for your national team, you want to perform well. You want somebody to see you do well for your country. And then the new coach is going to come in. He's going to look at past games, at past matches to kind of see if there's something there. But for the most part, he's going to make his own mind up.
Let's have a look at the guys in contention. Now, we're going to have a look at 5. They're all inexperienced. Bill Hamid started against Bosnia, was replaced at halftime by Zach Steffen. Out of those 5, a couple of them aren't even playing for their club because they've moved. Who do you think has the best chance of maybe establishing himself as the #1 choice?
Well, I think that's the hard part. So Bill Hamid's left DC United. He's gone to Midtjylland. He hasn't broken in as the #1 yet. So he's still waiting for his chance. I really thought it was going to be Ethan Horvath. When he left Molde and went to Club Brugge, I thought, okay, there's an opportunity to go, and now he's been replaced. And it's really, Zach Steffen as well had an excellent under-20 World Cup. He was at Freiburg, was unable to break into Freiburg, and and came back to Columbus Crew. So it really is kind of one of those wide open fields where somebody just needs to be playing consistently, playing at the highest level possible, and prove that they're the best goalkeeper. Now, Horvath had a chance, I think a couple months ago, and then gave up a poor goal in that. So it's amazing that nobody's been able to really step forward and say, I'm the U.S. #1. If I'm looking at that list right now, all things being equal, Brad Guzan starts in the next game. That means something.
Just finally, you were 20 years old when you made your debut for the U.S. against Colombia. Now, you went on to go abroad, played for a number of clubs. If someone came to you, one of these kids who's still in the U.S., maybe a young goalkeeper, and said, look, should I stay where I am in the US, where I might get noticed better, or should I maybe go to Europe, like a couple of the guys have done, with no guarantee that you're going to get a game at first? What would you suggest?
Well, you always have to gamble on yourself at some stage, and you have to make that decision. I can't make a decision for you. If I say to you, oh, you need to go to Europe, but your mind is saying,
I want to stay here.
I want to be here, then you have to stay here. There's no way around it. What I will do, and I've done it with several players before, I've given them what to expect in both scenarios, and they have to make the decision themselves. And there's no question that any manager in the world, any national team manager in the world, wants their players playing at the very highest level possible. They don't want their players sitting at the very highest level possible. So that's that balancing act between getting games and also going to say to yourself and proving to yourself that I can go play. Now, I have no problem. Bill Hamid just got to Midtjylland. It'll take some time to break, and we've all been in those.
And you don't become a bad goalkeeper overnight.
And you don't. No, not at all. And, Horvath is a little worrying because he was brought by Bruce, and now they've brought somebody else in to replace him. But he's still young. We've all been in situations where it didn't work out one place. You have to maybe move again to go reprove yourself. So the I guess the good part now is that they're still a couple years away from anything that matters for the U.S. national team. So you've got a group of goalkeepers fighting it out, trying to find the best situation for them. It's not as if they have a game tomorrow, which would be more worrying.
2 things. One, there's no clear-cut #1. The second thing is, what an opportunity for these guys to become the clear-cut #1 with the U.S.